Good afternoon, good evening. Today is the Thursday, the 22nd of February 2024. For those who don't know me, my name is Neil Davidson, 53, from South Norfolk in the UK. Thanks very much for my subscribers. I've now reached 1,096, which is absolutely fantastic. I really do appreciate everybody for subscribing to me. Today's header is called 0.2 Reoccurrence, Relapse, and What Next? If I just go back into my journey for those people who are just joining for the first time, I went to Latvia in August 22, and with a random blood test for no symptoms, we found we had a PSA of 5.6. Another PSA done the next day was also 5.6. Come back to the UK, who went to see the doctor, done the examination, and then for the MRIs, which came back favourable for me. I got what they call a PIRADS 2, which is favourable, but we had some biopsies a month later, and out of them biopsies we found 5 out of 16 which were cancerous. 4 were 3+4s on the Gleason score, and 1 was 4+3. So we decided that we would have a prostatectomy. So we had a prostatectomy last April 2023. All went well. The 6-week blood test came back 0.01 undetected, which for me was fantastic news. And I thought then that we'd got everything, and but unfortunately through the summer I had a blood test in August, which was 3 or 4 months after. It came back 0.1. I had another test in October and November, both again 0.1. And for those people who watched my last video, I was talking about trying to get a 2 decimal place PSA, which unfortunately here in Norfolk we don't do. The NHS Trust do not perform a 2 decimal place, which I wanted. I wanted to see where I was in the 0.1s. Was I 0.11, 0.14, 0.17, or just where I was? So, cut long story short, I organised a private test done. The Graham Fulford Charity Foundation provided me with a vacutainer, and for £25 we'd done the test, and it came back a little bit higher than I thought it was going to come back. I was hoping something in the 0.1s, but in January it came back at 0.21. So we had to have another test from the NHS, and it also come back 0.20. So that test was done January, February time, and on Tuesday of this week I went to see Dr. Illy, Mr. Illy, sorry, who is a consultant urologist at the Norfolk and Norwich Hospital. I had a very good chat with him, and we explained for 45 minutes. We had a good chat about where we think the reoccurrence was, and we done some diagrams, and I asked some questions, and Mr. Illy is very, very, very patient. He will answer any questions, and he sort of encouraged me to ask the questions. There was some questions I needed to ask, because the reoccurrence, I just asked him where he thought, and we looked at the pathology report, and I asked him that did he think there was a positive margin at the apex, which is the bottom, which touched the urethra, and whether the urethra was then stretched back up to the bladder, and whether it was there. My fear there was that I didn't want to have bladder cancer, and he basically said to me that the prostate cancer and the bladder cancer are two totally different cancers, perform different ways, and they don't. It's not right. You won't get bladder cancer from a prostate cell. So I was quite happy with that, to be honest. At the end of the day, we don't know where the reoccurrence is going to happen. It might just be in some of the nerves. We just don't know until we have that PET scan, a PSMA scan. We won't know. We're just assuming at the minute. And there's, say, a few questions going around in my head, which I just wanted answered, and Mr. Illy was more than happy to answer the questions there. So where we stand at the minute, every trust in the UK have probably a different protocol, and unfortunately in Norfolk the protocol is that we have to wait until we get 0.4. 0.2 is the marker where we would say it's a biological reoccurrence, relapse. But I can understand, speaking to Mr. Ali, I can understand why a lot of the trusts now will say they won't do nothing until 0.4. 0.4 gives you a better chance for the PET scan to pick up and to get treated properly from there. A 0.2 is a bare minimum that a PET scan will probably pick up, and it'll probably come back 0 or not found. So it's not a waste of a scan. It's just they just want it to allow it to grow just a little bit bigger, which brings on another problem where, you know, as I said to him, how long am I going to wait until it gets to 0.4? And again, how long is a piece of string? The reason I say that is because back in January, I had a 2 decimal place test and it come back 0.21. I'd done the same test in February and it come back 0.20. For me, I just don't understand why it went down 0.01. I was expecting it to go up to about 0.23, 0.24 on the journey upwards. So he wasn't surprised, which was sort of surprised me personally. I thought it was only going to go one way, but he said no, not necessarily. So basically, you know, from 0.2 to 0.4 could be a long waiting game. We just don't know. It's just that worry, that anxiety, which you've got to sit and wait, and it's only going one way. So it's just sit and wait, which is, I'm fine about it. I've accepted it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But it's just that not knowing. That's the big thing. The not knowing what's going to happen from not so much month to month, but from 3 months to 3 months. So that's where we are at the minute. He said that the tumour on the apex was a low grade, which was, he said, 3s. If you know about the Gleason scores, 3 is a slow growing cancer. You don't really want 4s and 5s, but it come back in the pathology as a 3. So he's not too concerned at the minute. Sorry, but yeah, we had a good long chat where, you know, put my mind at rest quite a bit, actually, to be honest. He's a good guy. I thoroughly recommend Mr. Illy. If anybody in Norfolk here has the chance to go with Mr. Illy, whether it be private or through NHS, thoroughly recommend Mr. Illy. He's been a nice guy, takes the time with me. I say I have a lot of questions I want to try and get off my mind, purely so I can come back on here and tell people on here as also. He knows I do a YouTube channel, which he's very, very happy for me to do and continue. And so yeah, he's a good guy, Mr. Illy. I've got a lot of time for him. So he explains everything. He lets me ask any question, how small, big or confusing it is, just for me to get in my mind what's going on. So again, where we go from here. So he said that it doesn't normally refer any patient at 0.2 to oncology. Oncology is the nuclear medicine side. It's the radiation and ADT. So he said he doesn't normally recommend 0.2. It's just a waste of time medically. Unfortunately for the patient, it's just that time you've got to wait. But he said he would. So he's requested for me to start, not necessarily treatment, but start the process. I'm on the books now, so which I'm more than happy with. It's what I wanted out of the meeting between us two. And he said, you know, if that's what I want, that's what he will ask for. And I've got a piece of paper to say that he has requested it from nuclear medicine. He did say that it's not down to him, it is down to nuclear to say yes or no. And it'll probably bounce back to him to say no. He'd have to wait till 0.4, just like everybody else. So, so I got no hopes on that. But for me, at least, I'm not going to be 6 months down the line. You've got to wait another 6 months. You do be referred. At least I'm on the books. They might ask me to come up there to say, look, this is what happens when we start radiation, just to put people's minds at rest of what goes on and the process, basically. So it's all good for mental health. It's all good for just to calm you down, and you know, it's normally going to be 33 doses of radiation with maybe ADT, which is an androgen deprivation therapy, which kills the testosterone in your body, and the testosterone is the fuel or food for the prostate cancer. So it's something that will happen, I believe, but as and when, we just don't know. So again, very happy that he has referred me, and yeah, end of the day, to be honest, the YouTube channel which I've set up, as I got now 1,000, just under 1,100 subscribers, and it's been absolutely fantastic to me. Really has been focused on trying to deliver different content to people. And I say, if people haven't really watched my journey, what I've always said is that if I reach the 1,000 subscriber marks, I become parts of the YouTube channel, the partnership, which means they will pay a very, very small percentage to me of any views, because they have adverts on the channel. So, and I've always said that any money I raise will go to charity, whether it be a small community one here in Durham in Norfolk. The next level up will probably be the Big C, which is a big regional thing here in Norfolk, Suffolk and Cambridge. Very, very good charity. And obviously a national one, prostate.co.uk. But we're being paid just a little bit by day, not much, probably a couple of £1 a day, but that couple of £1 is when it comes to charity, as I always say, every penny counts. It's not all about the hundreds and millions of thousands of pounds, it's all about every penny. And once I get to a certain level, which say £100, the first charity, which will be Durham, they will get the first check or the money, and I'm sure they'll be very grateful of it. So I will be filming my journey as we go, delivering the checks and different things. I think now I'm at 1,000, I'm just gonna not really care who I ask. I've asked our local BBC radio station here in Norfolk, and I should be on Radio Norfolk next week. Just a little interview with them. I've asked and emailed my local MP to see what he could do, George Freeman, to see what he could do, how he could raise the awareness, or how he could get my posters out different places. So we don't ask, you don't get. At the end of the day, any person who watches the video knows that all that money will go to a charity in the end. So it doesn't cost anybody to subscribe. It doesn't cost me nothing to do this. The winners are the charity in the end, and I've said that in my previous videos. So again, it's literally every penny. Talking about my last video, it's currently on 43,000 views from around the world. Many thanks to everybody who watches it. Again, I'm still probably getting 45% Americans, which is absolutely brilliant, with Canada, Australia and UK not far behind. So I think that's where we'll leave it. Good news and bad news. I've had some good questions answered from Mr. Illy. But the bad news, I'm just going to have to wait. So I can't see the referral will go through. So it's just a matter of waiting. So the good thing is that Mr. Illy said, not to worry too much. It's a low grade one that is growing slowly in your body, but and hopefully once it gets a certain marker, they can radiate that and get rid of that. So there's a bit of hope at the end of the tunnel. So I've now got to book a 3-month PSA test with my local GP, and Mr. Illy will be seeing me after 4 months, and we'll go from there. So again, thank you very much for every person who watches this, whether it be my Tenerife friends, whether it be my Bowls friends here in the UK, whether it be all my American friends. I have a lot of comments from a lot of people in Australia, actually, to be honest. The Australians do get hold of this, and really do appreciate that. So any person who is on the same sort of journey as me, so I'm currently 0.20, and it took 6 months to get to 0.20. Any person who's on the same journey as me, same age as me, if they want to drop me an email for any tips, tricks, advice, please do so. My email is lowercase Neil Davidson 5959 @btinternet.com. So anything I can try and help, please drop me a mail. I'm sure that we can soon get back to you with some answers. So thank you very much. I hope the sound has come over okay today. I've got a new little mic which I've rigged up. Again, thanks to Tim Dowd in Tenerife, who's recommended me this little Rode mic. So we'll see how it come across. So many thanks. Remember to hit the button, the subscribe button if you want, and the notifications for any videos that I set up. So again, thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.